Hey creeps, it's Cameron again, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about books, movies, writing, and all things spooky. On this episode of Library Macabre, I will be reviewing the audiobook of Ferrell by Matt Serafini. Ferrell by Matt Serafini follows the story of two students who are on summer break in Greasefield, Massachusetts when they become entangled in a war between vigilante and werewolf. Greasefield is infested with beasts and there is nowhere to run. This is the second book that I've read by Matt Serafini, the first one being Under the Blade, a slasher story with a unique twist. One thing that both of these books have in common is the small town setting. While Serafini's tiny towns seem cozy and peaceful on the surface, if you look a little bit closer, you see that they are anything but. Even without the murder, the characters are downright depraved, and that is definitely the case in Ferrell. Characters struggle with forbidden desires that are going to make any reader squirm, no matter how hardened they may be. Under the Blade was milder in this way, but Ferrell offers the reader with a heaping serving of shock and discomfort. This all comes down to the animosity inside the characters who have been turned into werewolves. All morals evaporate as the animal begins to take over, transforming them into murderous, sex-crazed beings. This does lead to scenes of sexual assault, so be forewarned, it's pretty disturbing. There are also a lot of sex scenes, some of which are meant to be more disturbing, others of which are a little bit more erotic in nature. If you are turned off by a lot of sexual content, Ferrell is not going to be for you. Same thing if you don't like a lot of gore, because Serafini is excellent at writing gore. I, for one, enjoy a bloody good story every now and then, and this definitely delivered. Matt Serafini's prose is smooth and descriptive at all times when it comes to describing Greasefield as a town, and when it comes to writing scenes in which people are being ripped apart by werewolves. I found the world building to be very impressive as well. While this does take place in our modern world, the secret world of these werewolves definitely feels like a universe all of its own. So think The Howling meets Underworld. Bottom line, I had a blast with this book. I never knew where it was going, and it had my jaw on the floor at several turns. There was definitely some shocking material here that took me by surprise, so if you are a sensitive reader, you should have caution. But if you desire a traditional werewolf story with a nasty modern punch, then I think you're going to dig this. I would especially recommend listening to the audiobook of this, which is narrated by Matt Godfrey, who is one of my favorite narrators. This guy has a great voice, and he has narrated a ton of horror books, so I really like seeing his name pop up everywhere. It's really cool. He did a great job with this. He always does a good job. So if you want to read the book, I will post the link down below in the graveyard. And then if you want to listen to the audiobook, of course, the link will be down below as well. I also know that there is a prequel to this book called Devil's Row, which I definitely want to check out. And then, of course, Matt Serafini has been on a roll lately, and he has come out with two new books this year. First off, we have Rites of Extinction, which is from Grindhouse Press. I got this for review a couple of months ago, so I really need to get to this. So I'm very excited to read this. And then he also just put out Ocean Grave, which is a summer horror book. So he's releasing a lot of cool stuff, guys. I really recommend checking out his work. If you have read any of Matt Serafini's books, let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Later, creeps. Hey creeps, thank you again for visiting my channel and for subscribing. If you would like to see more, I am on Twitter and Instagram @BookMovieGuy. I am also the co-creator of the Library Macabre Books Facebook page. Also, I am a horror author, so if you would like to read any of my work or check out any of the pages that I mentioned, I will leave the links down below in the graveyard. And lastly, I am on Patreon, so I wanted to use this time to extend a very warm thank you to all of these awesome creeps over here. Those are all of my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to say thank you so much, guys, and stay spooky.